Hello, I'm Min Kobayashi, and happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian friends, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone else who celebrates it at the wrong time. I'm really thankful for the community that I've found here, and yeah, I just absolutely love being a part of BookTube, and I'm always thankful. So thank you for being my family and being so supportive and lovely all the time, but especially this time when we celebrate thankfulness. Anyways, this is going to be my late October TBR. I've actually already taken a few off because I've finished them, so first of all, because I am part of Demigods Anonymous with Margaret and Kenzie Lee T, I'm going to be reading the second book in the Percy Jackson series, which is Sea of Monsters. If you do not know what Sea of Monsters is, it is the second book in the Percy Jackson series, and it follows Percy as he navigates life and all the adventures of that. He is now 13 years old, the son of a Greek god, and he has lots of adventures and fun, and Annabeth is super smart, and Grover's just hilarious, and it's fun, and there's monsters and seas and tons of foreshadowing. And then I'm going to be doing a buddy read with Wolfie from the Silly Little Ravenclaw, and we're going to be reading Alice in Wonderland. He made fun of me when I did my video about embarrassing classics I hadn't read, so he was like, you need to do this together, so we're going to be reading it, and I'm really excited because I feel like it's a classic I really should have read. There are many books that I've read that are based on it, like Heartless, and yeah, I feel like I should just read the book by now. My next book is Catwoman by Sarah J. Maas. This is a book that I'm reading because it's part of the DC Icons. I've already read Batman and Wonder Woman, and they were both incredible. This one I'm more skeptical about because I'm not a huge fan of the author. Sorry for everyone who loves her. I'm just not really into her writing style. It's nothing against her personally or anyone who likes her, of course. I just don't find it my style, but I am dedicated to finishing this book. And I'm really excited about this. So in August, I read Strange the Dreamer, and now I get to read Muse of Nightmares, which is well hyped on BookTube, and I'm sure you've heard about it, but I don't really know how to describe the plot of Muse of Nightmares very well. It is kind of confusing. There's dreams and a librarian Laszlo and magical cities and former gods. I would just really recommend reading it if you like lyrical epic fantasy. I also know that many people that don't like epic fantasy found it a good gateway book into adult literature and fantasy, so if you're into that or you want to dive in, I've heard it's a pretty good one to start with, so recommend. And one I'm very excited about reading, that would be Wildcard by Marie Lu. Marie Lu is one of those authors that I've just fallen in love with this year. I hadn't read anything of her books last year or before that, and I've read almost her entire works now, from starting with the London Elite series, which I absolutely loved, and then I read Batman, and I read Warcross, and then Legend. I need to finish that series, and I need to finish this book, but it just came out. This is actually the very first book. This and Muse and Nightmares were both the very first copy that my library got in. I got it like the day it came in, and they were like, congratulations, it's so shiny. So I was really happy to get it. It follows Amika Chen, and she is really broke, and she's trying to fend for her and her roommate, and she goes around and catches people in artificial reality. And yeah, then she clicks herself into the game opening night, which is like pretty much overcome the world in a lot of areas. And then she's flown to Japan to be part of the competition, and craziness ensues. So I'm really excited to see. She's really good at like putting the little Easter eggs in it, and just really good battle scenes, especially for it not having really taken place. So I think, yeah, I would definitely recommend picking up any of Marie Lu's works. They're awesome. And this book, I absolutely love. I couldn't put it down. Like, I read a lot of it in one sitting, and then I've just been really busy. But it is one I just found on the library shelf. It's called Driving by Starlight by Anat Dakarasine, which is actually a pseudonym. She is from Saudi Arabia. She grew up there, and now she lives in California. And she tells a story about two Saudi Arabian girls who deal with oppression in modern Saudi Arabia. And yeah, it's really hard to read at times. I really cried a lot, and little things like people's phones being smashed, they couldn't take pictures, and just about rebellion, but a lot of relatable abilities and understanding into what it's like, and it's still relatable to a lot of their feelings even if their situation isn't relatable. And yeah, the main character, she is the daughter of a protester who is imprisoned, and her best friend is one of the cabinet minister's daughters. So kind of a star-crossed friendship, and they kind of want to have fun, but they're one pragmatic and one is silly and fun-loving, so but they make awesome friends, and it has a really strong friendship so far, and I can't wait to finish it. And then I go into my audiobooks that I have for this month. First, I have Soulless, which I'm reading right now. I'm reading this because Jasana C absolutely loves it, and I really respect her opinions. We have actually like sometimes the exact opinions on books and sometimes the exact opposite opinion on books. So this part I'm like halfway through. I'm enjoying it fairly much. It's not like a book I might traditionally pick up, but it's pretty good. And then Hideous Strength, this is a third book in C.S. Lewis's Space Trilogy, which is his very unknown and underrated book series. It's awesome. It gives a lot of setup to where he became a writer when he wrote the Chronicles of Narnia, and it was created over the pact that him and Tolkien made, that they wanted to make science fiction and fantasy not just for children anymore. And Tolkien wrote The Hobbit, and C.S. Lewis wrote the Space Trilogy as a beginning of their careers, as branching off, and then, you know, Lewis kind of went back on his deal. I don't know what happened there, but he agreed, and he did Narnia as well, which is of course high fantasy. But it is lovely. It follows a philologist, which is a person who studies languages, named Alvin Ransom, as he gets kidnapped and brought on this trip to this other planet, which is mysterious until the end. And then he befriends people and finds out language, and a lot of it, especially written for the 1930s, has this very like anti-xenophobic world. And he's not afraid of those who are different or weird. He seeks to understand them, and I think that's a universal thing that's super great. And yeah, this book I know is following different characters, but I'm not sure where that goes yet. And Flame in the Mist, so I read this month already The Rose and the Dagger, so I'm really excited to jump into another Renee Ahdieh. I really like her writing style. I don't really like her character so far, so I'm really hoping that in her third book here that she'll grow as a writer more, and that I'll be able to enjoy her characters and the plot as much as I do the setting and the lyrical writing. And then Pachinko, which is by Min Jin Lee. This is a book that's set in Korea and Japan, I believe, and follows 4 generations in 8 decades, and I love this. I absolutely love family stories that span generations. I want to write like a tome for every book series that I ever write. I'm like, this is the history of the world, so I love stories like this, and I can't wait to listen to it. It's been on my to-read list for a while, so I'm really excited to read it. Now we move into the section of shame, where these are the books that I just haven't finished yet, and I need to finish. First one is Looking for Alaska. I really like John Green as a person, even though his writing isn't always for me. I do normally enjoy his books more than I enjoy other contemporaries, simply because I am the pretentious teenager that everyone tells doesn't exist in his books. You know, they're like, he's too pretentious, and I'm like, that is me. Well, I'm not a teenager anymore, but that was me. Anyways, I picked this up on a whim. I read about halfway through it, and I need to finish it. I read it previously all in one sitting. It is about this guy named Miles who goes to a boarding school and meets this girl Alaska and her friends and the rebels, and it's actually somewhat autobiographical. Like, it's not super biographical, but you know, John Green did meet his wife Sarah in boarding school, so it's kind of based on that, and the quote is taken from his wife, who said that to them when they met, so it's cool. Anyways, I'm excited. I'm enjoying it. Not as much as some of his other books, but I do really like it. My Love, Anne of Avonlea. Anne of Green Gables is one of my favorite books of all time. I reread it in August, and then I read over half of this, and then I read some in September, and I've been super busy and haven't finished it. But pretty much Anne of Green Gables is an orphan. She is from Nova Scotia, but she moves to Prince Edward Island, and here it follows her fun years as a teacher and growing up. She's still very much a girl, and it has this beautiful mythology and writing in it, and I can't wait to finish it. And This month I'm actually going to be rereading Anne of Green Gables as well, hopefully to talk with my roommates, because I totally commandeered them into doing a book study. Yes, I offered them wine and they accepted. It was great. And my most embarrassing of books. I like to say that I can read a book in 2 years, right? Like, I feel like that's a good measure of time to read a book. City of Bones I've been reading for 2 years. I need to finish it before the 2-year mark is up, which is November. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I'm only halfway through, not even. So, I need to get reading. I don't think I need to explain the book plot. She finds out on her 16th birthday that she is part angel and can fight demons. Tell me what you're reading below, which book you're most excited to, which book that I should definitely not put off, because I'm wonderful at finishing TBRs, as everyone is in the book community. Anyways, have a happy day, happy Thanksgiving again, and thank you guys all for being amazing and lovely all the time. Bye!